Okay, here we have Debbie serving, doing a drop serve. So actually here it looks like it's legal because she held the ball and then released it and then hit it. Good serve to Eileen. Hits a backhand to return it. Now notice how both Pat and Debbie both move up to the kitchen line together. Deb hits a backhand dink shot. BA has to let it bounce. And now there's good positioning between Deb and Pat. If you see where Eileen and BA are, they're a little bit too close together. When BA moved over to hit the ball, Eileen should have moved over a little bit to her left to maintain the spacing. So here, notice the BA put the ball up a little bit, but it's only about head high. And if you look at the position of Deb's paddle, it's straight up and down, which you would use for an overhead, but because this ball is barely head high, she would have been better off hitting it more like a volley with the paddle at an angle instead of straight up and down. And if you notice, she didn't really hit the ball very hard. I don't know if she felt that if she had swung hard, the ball would have gone into the net. So she kind of just pushed it. And the ball went up as a result instead of down. And she gave a high ball back that happened to find the gap, though. So it was a winner. In this next rally, Deb's serving. BA is receiving. And moves right up to the kitchen line. So this is very good. Pat sees the ball going to Deb, so she's moving up to the kitchen line. Deb is moving into the ball and continuing to the kitchen line. So now we've got all four players up at the kitchen line. BA has to hit a volley, but I think if we watch where she actually makes contact with the ball, it's at the bottom edge of her paddle instead of in the center of the paddle. So the ball ended up going into the net. So that's probably just keeping your eye on the ball until it hits the paddle. Okay, on this next point here, Deb is serving, but now watch her hand holding the ball. This time, her hand starts moving down before she releases. So that's would have been a fault. She should have just held her hand up and then opened the hand to drop the ball instead of having the hand or the arm continue down and letting the ball go. So she serves the ball to Eileen. Eileen comes up with a lethal forehand return that goes right to the baseline and jams Pat, who had to back off in order to hit it, and forces an error. So that was excellent serve by Eileen. Okay, on this next point, we have Pat serving. BA taking it on her backhand. Now watch, BA moves right up to the kitchen line here, which is really good. Then Deb and Pat also move up to the kitchen line together. Deb hits a shot. Deb hits a shot that goes a little bit too far, so it doesn't bounce in the kitchen. BA makes a volley instead. Deb recognizes the ball's coming kind of deep, so she takes a step back to let it bounce, which is okay. She does another dink back and moves right back into position. BA volleys the ball back right at Deb and body bags her. So that was excellent, though. Both teams were at the kitchen hitting dink shots. And BA did a speed up to win the point. On this next point, BA is serving the ball and hits a really nice serve that goes wide and takes Pat almost off the court. Now let's look at how far Pat had to go to get to the ball. Meanwhile, Debbie looked back, but she did not move in sync with Pat. So look at the gap that was created between Debbie and Pat. If the ball goes to Eileen, Eileen would have a big gap to hit towards. So it does go to Eileen. Pat's trying to get back into position, but Eileen hits the ball a little bit too high. Gives Pat a chance for an overhead, but she didn't hit it solidly, so it just kind of drops into the court. BA hits a backhand that tops the net. Deb's able to recover it anyway. BA hits another volley, but that one doesn't go over the net. So let's slow this down a little bit and take a little closer look at this exchange. So here comes the high ball. Pat tries to make an overhead, but it's a kind of an awkward position. So she just barely hits on the edge of the paddle. Comes down. Eileen tried to hit it, but missed it. BA came over and covered it, which was good. Hits the top of the net. Deb sees it and is able to push it back. Good reaction there. But now, watch where BA has her paddle. It's kind of low. And here, if she had tried to hit a drop shot, it probably would have been better, but instead she hit the ball kind of flat. So it didn't clear the net. It hit the top of the net and then it just dropped back down. Okay, on this point, Eileen's serving the ball to Debbie. It's a pretty good serve. Debbie takes that on her backhand, then moves up to the line. Eileen stayed back, so now she's forced to hit it from no man's land and pops the ball up. Now here, Deb has a chance to make a put away, but she doesn't take a hard enough swing. And also look at her paddle face. See how it's facing up towards the sky. So when the ball hits the paddle, it goes up instead of down. Now, as it turns out, it just manages to fall in, I believe, for a winner. Yeah, just barely. So here, once Deb has a chance for an overhead, if you watch how she's set up, her chest is facing forward and both legs are side by side. It would have been better if Deb brought her right foot back slightly so she could angle her shoulders, so her chest would be facing Eileen instead of straight forward. So if she had been at an angle, she would have been able to have a better angle on the overhead. Also, you notice Deb put all her weight on her right foot, so she's actually off balance now when she's making this hit. If she had opened up sideways, her weight should have been on the front left foot, not the right foot. And then she would have been better balanced to put this ball away. But sometimes you still win the point. Anyway.